Hello. We're talking to Dr. John Feightner, the recipient of CFPC Lifetime Achievement Award in Family Medicine Research. Thank you very much for finding time to speak to us today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much.
We're wondering if we could tap into your endless knowledge about research and get some perspectives to share with some of our viewers.
I'd be happy to share some thoughts with you, certainly.
Fantastic. Yes. So the first question I'm going to ask is kind of like the setting the stage, higher level one.
Yes.
So what about family medicine research do you find most rewarding in your experience?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think that there are many elements that are rewarding with family medicine research. Perhaps two of the most important, I think, are the range of issues that one can address and pursue with curiosity. That's for certain. I think the other really important issue that's come up several times in today's meeting, interestingly enough, is that research within family medicine and to research family medicine issues, one requires a collaborative group or collaborative team to address those. And I think perhaps, at least from my own point of view, looking back on my career, one of the most satisfying, rewarding elements has been to work with very bright colleagues in a very creative fashion. So to some degree, it's that collaborative nature and the nature of the important issues, the range of those issues that can be addressed. So it's an exciting field.
Fascinating, and certainly we've heard quite a bit about the collaboration and the importance of it, and making sure that you have that right group of people who are working together.
Yes.
It's excellent. So thinking back about, I'm sure you have quite a bit of experience in research. I'm always interested to hear stories about when something, in terms of results, came up unexpected or perhaps even disappointing. And it's always interesting how you chose to deal with it or learn from it or change things based on that.
Okay. Well, let me, I guess there may be many different things. I think in terms of surprises, I'm not sure it was a surprise, although to me it was a new experience for sure. And that was the very first research project that I had an opportunity to be involved with when I first joined the faculty at McMaster. And that was a group that were looking at how family doctors, as well as other generalists and medical students, approached clinical problems, how they thought them through. And so we had an opportunity to begin to explore that and to articulate the clinical reasoning process for family physicians and for other providers when working through a clinical problem and arriving at some decision for action. And I think the work provided a basis for future exploration in terms of how family physicians provide care, how we sort through problems, what issues are important. It's an issue that I was first exposed to, so in a sense it was a surprise to me to learn more about that. It was great fun, and although my research moved in other directions after that, I still find that area fascinating today.
Very interesting. Speaking of areas of research, what is your personal method of determining what to study? How do you pick your topics?
That's a very good question. I suppose it's driven in part by curiosity. That sounds like a fascinating area. It seems important. I think invariably it's been driven by opportunity as well. Partly the opportunity and the timing to explore a particular issue, but also, frankly, and this comes back to that collaborative issue, the opportunity to work with people that I enjoy working with and whose work I respect and admire. So when those opportunities present themselves to pursue a curious area or an area of curiosity that has value, that's an area that looks worth pursuing.
What is the most unexpected area you found yourself studying?
The most unexpected, I suppose in some ways, I actually, and some of my colleagues who are steeped in the skills of qualitative research might find it a surprise, was that I actually have been involved with a few qualitative research projects. My research training is very much in the quantitative mode. I have great respect for a range of designs. But my experience was largely in the quantitative mode. My training was, a lot of my work was in systematic reviews. But I had the fortunate and enjoyable experience of being involved with folks that do qualitative research, and I must say that was a treat and a delight.
Excellent. Qualitative research, I think, can offer these very unique insights that sometimes kind of evade the numbers.
Absolutely, and not only create new understandings, but also, I think, add really valuable dimensions to some of the things that have been measured in a more quantitative fashion.
So you spoke a lot about the importance of teams and collaboration. What are some of the driving sort of main principles for you in forming and running a team to achieve the results that you're looking for?
Well, I suppose it starts with practical issues. I mean, some of it is fairly straightforward in the sense that you want to be sure you have the skill set to address the key issues that you think will be part of that initiative or that project. So you need people who have the experience and the knowledge, the training to address that and bring those dimensions to a collective to address the key question or questions of the project, or perhaps a series of questions if it's a large project. However, beyond that, and I think in some ways as important, or maybe even more important for many projects, are these people that can work together? What do they bring in terms of themselves to the initiative? Certainly, selfishly, that's part of the fun for everybody that's involved in the project. I think that adds a dimension of energy. But also, I think, while we put a lot of attention to the what in research, the who is a big part as well. So you hope you can work with people who bring a particular way of thinking, who you enjoy work with, and whose work you respect. So it seems to me that it's not only a skill-based, but a person-based set of issues that lead you to select the team.
How very appropriate for family medicine research, which is a very person-based discipline as well.
Indeed, yes.
So switching tracks just a little bit here, I'm sure you have a lot of lessons learned about what are the good ways of doing things in your career and in research. But thinking about some of the things that, knowing what you know now, you would have done differently in your career, what would be some of those that you could share with us?
Well, my first reaction is that I've been fortunate that I'm not sure I'd do a whole lot of things differently. Not that there weren't bumps and problems and mistakes and so on, but I mean, that's part of the learning process, and in some ways, strangely, part of the fun of doing that. You expect that you'll have problems and so on. At a personal level, I think, like most of us, I think I wish I could write more easily, or could have written more easily. I marvel at people who can sit down and express their views clearly and do it well. For most of it's an arduous discipline. I would have loved to have done that more simply. And I would have loved to have been a bit more assertive, particularly in the early days in the development of the discipline, to be a little bit more forthcoming and assertive with views and opinions, and get into the mix of the discussion in print as opposed to just at meetings. But I've been very fortunate to have enjoyed what I've done, and I'm not sure I would have changed a whole lot looking back on my career.
Well, that's a very inspiring answer. And coming back to the assertiveness, I think comparing now and then, the family medicine research as a discipline has evolved so much that I certainly hope that young researchers now are feeling much more confident thanks to the work of researchers like yourself.
Well, I think I just today at the research day, I had the opportunity to go around and look at some of the posters, talk with the presenters, listen to presentations. I must say I'm quite excited about the young minds that are being attracted into research in family medicine. I think it bodes extraordinarily well for the discipline. I like the way they look at problems, they think about problems. So I think it's exciting. I think it's good for the future of the discipline, and I look forward to seeing their work in the future.
Absolutely, and I think we certainly have some very talented young researchers. What kind of lessons would you be able to share with them as the sort of the key takeaways based on your experience?
Well, it's going to sound like a recurrent theme, but in part it has to do with collaboration, and I'll come back to that in a moment. I think that if I could, one thing I would try to share with them is that while it's important to have a focus and a theme to organize your efforts and your activities, we're in a discipline that is broad-ranging and has a number of interesting issues. And I guess the one thing I would say is that while they'll be encouraged to have a focus, and that's great, not to be afraid to change areas over their career or to move to other themes and so on, if that's where their passion, their curiosity takes them. That there is room to move around, that you can change what you're doing. You pay some prices for that, perhaps, over a career, but generally speaking, it can be great fun. I think the second thing is just to underscore, I mean, we talk a lot about collaboration in family medicine research. I'm not sure that for the young researchers, we help them understand just how personally rewarding the collaborative relationships, the friendships that often evolve out of that over a career can be. And I would think that for many at my stage who look back, that in many ways, those are the more lasting rewards than some of the individual accomplishments. So I would want to encourage them to be sure to seize those opportunities, to relish in them, and to enjoy not only the what, but the who they're working with.
Wise advice, and I think some of the younger researchers are lucky to have mentors such as you, who have paved the way for their cohort to be able to do the kind of work with the support that you provide.
Well, hopefully.
So coming to a conclusion of the interview, thinking about family medicine research as a discipline, as a direction,
Yes.
what would you say, why is it important?
Well, I believe the research in family medicine is important for many reasons, but there are at least two that come to my mind first. First of all, our patients deserve best available care that's informed and instructed by good evidence, and provided by family physicians who understand how to use that evidence and integrate it with their experience and with patient wishes. So evidence has a key part to play in the mix of good patient-centered care. It's not the only component, but it's an important component. I'd say that's probably the primary reason. The other thing that's important is that while many of the issues of patient care in family medicine can be informed to a degree by research in other arenas, other disciplines, family physician or family medicine researchers, because it's not just physicians, people researching the field of family medicine, are well positioned to understand the context, the important issues, and now and increasingly are trained and experienced in the best strategies for addressing those issues. So the field is important because it enhances patient care, but it's also important because we have a unique perspective and a unique set of skills to address the key issues.
Certainly, and I'm very glad that you point out the ultimate impact on patients, as I think it's very important and something that family medicine is uniquely positioned to really address that. So congratulations once again on your important work.
Thank you, I'm honored indeed.
Thank you very much for finding time to speak to us. Congratulations again.
Right, thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay.